Welcome back to the Care Plan. I am Jacqueline Boyd, the owner and founder, and I'm so glad that you are joining me today on this beautiful day. Unfortunately, the topic we're going to talk about is not quite as uplifting. I wanted to spend a little bit of time addressing financial abuse from a care perspective. If you're concerned about financial abuse of a loved one being the victim of frauds or scams, you may have already looked up some information. There's a ton of information on the web from attorneys and accountants and financial services folks, but there's less about financial abuse from a care perspective, and so that's what I wanted to address today. So oftentimes we find out about a loved one being financially abused through pretty casual means. It tends to be through casual conversation, maybe something said over a meal or just in passing. And in particular, older adults and people who spend a lot of time alone tend to be at higher risk for financial abuse. So it's important to, I think, first start the conversation to help break through some of that stigma that most of us have around finances. Most people are very, very, very private about their money. We don't ask each other about money. We don't talk about it. And so then when something is happening for one of our loved ones, they may not think to tell us about it. They may not question it. So starting the conversation is one of the best ways to sort of normalize talking about finances and start to monitor or watch out for what's happening for your loved one on that front. So again, I'm trying to take more of a prevention approach so that you know how to address this with the people in your life that you think may be vulnerable. So the first step, like I said, is consistent conversation, making sure that you're not having just out of the blue a conversation about finances, but talking about it maybe over time. You know, with my parents, I try to discuss what's happening on a financial level with them at least twice a year, just so that they start to build trust with me and I know what their wishes are, what their plans are, and make sure that we're talking about financial abuse so that we can prevent it in the future. I think the next thing to be paying attention for is socialization. People who are particularly at risk are folks that are dealing with loneliness, and seniors are at a high risk of feeling extremely lonely. This actually happened in my own family. So one of my grandparents actually became the victim of scammers because he was really lonely and taking care of his ailing wife, and felt like, the way he described it to me was, he felt like his life had lost purpose. Many of his friends had passed away, and so, you know, he had lived to be 90, 95 and didn't have people in his life or peers in his life to talk to and deal with his own feelings of depression and sadness. And so when these telemarketers would call him or would try to strike up conversations with him, it felt better than not talking to anyone. And so that's how they got someone in my life who I love and care about dearly and never thought would freely give their money away to a stranger. Luckily we caught it, but I just want you to know that from not just a professional place, but a personal place, this is happening to so many people, and socialization is a huge aspect of it. The next thing you can do is just to watch for the signs. Some of the things that I see oftentimes with our seniors who are victims of financial abuse is they'll ask repeatedly to be taken to the bank. They'll need to borrow money because they overdrew on their accounts. And so when you see those things starting to happen, it's probably time for a real conversation, or to be thinking about getting more closely involved on your loved one's financial management. Unfortunately, you know, people don't usually come out and say, "Oh, I'm the victim of a scammer. I don't think this person is telling me the truth." Oftentimes that combination of loneliness and sometimes some memory impairment can mean that what you're really seeing as a sign is, "I need to be taken to the bank." Well, I just took you to the bank 2 days ago and you took out a certain amount of money. So really, really watch out for those signs as well. The fourth tip I have is to minimize opportunities. Landlines are a real entry point for people who are looking to financially abuse elders, because they know they tend to be at home. and in need of conversation. So landlines, if you don't need it, it's great to have the alternative of a cell phone. You get fewer telemarketing calls and fraudulent calls. The other thing to do would be to get on the no-call list, to make sure that if there's mail that's coming to your loved one's home, that you, on their behalf or with them, unsubscribe to those newsletters and asks for money, making sure that those entry points of the phone, the mail, are minimized if at all possible. So I hope that that's helpful. Again, there's so many resources out there from people that are in financial services, but on the care front, I just wanted you to have some idea of what to look for when you're working one-on-one with your loved one. So I hope that you will stay connected to the care plan. If you're in a situation where you think someone's being financially abused, don't hesitate to reach out, or if you have further questions about this subject. And also, we would love to hear from you in the comments about what other topics you would like to hear from us. In the meantime, take good care, and we'll see you soon.